Chicago Beauty Chidun Sobe Gudi Shue Shija Chebi Lugu Zerim Nalola Shungi Ngadas Shenganzu Lerim Chig Gudi Shue the Gudi Shungi di Kala and Tanda Tangudi Pumo Tenzin Minkyi La Resha Tenzin Minkyi ki Kemiki Tandapadu Manzu Tuksu Kandestan Yumetang Habadu Ani Kemiki Gobe Mamo Zedong ki Manzola Tuksu Kandestan Yumete Tola Ani Morangi Inge Tola Sunangere.
We have a special group of speeches lined up, deemed as the Roar of the Youth. First speaker to hear up will be Tenzin Minkyi.
Dashtele to my dear Tibetans and Americans. Today, good morning. Do you know why it is a good morning for us Tibetans in exile? Because after this mass protest, we get to go home to our families. We get to reunite with our loved ones. We get to have a nice dinner tonight. But our brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers inside of Tibet, they cannot reunite with their families after. They will be tortured and put to death for this. They will brutally be tortured. They live in fear every single day of dying for what they believe in a free Tibet. The right to their education, the right to their language and culture. I want to thank everyone for coming today because today is very important and it's very important that we show up. And thank you so much for the individuals who participated in the Peace March all the way from Minnesota. It is imperative that we practice our freedom because our loved ones in Tibet cannot. We have to remind the world that we exist before we are gone. We have to speak up for those that cannot speak up in Tibet. And today is a very special and sacred day in the history of Tibet's struggle for freedom. On this day, 49 days ago, a Tibetan activist by the name of Tenzin sacrificed his life for Tibet through a bold act of self-immolation in front of the United Nations headquarters in New York. And in respect and recognition for his sacrifice, today the Tibetans all over the world will be saying prayers for martyr Tenzin. And at the same time, we will be protesting against the Chinese Communist Party for their heinous crimes against the Tibetan people inside Tibet. Here in Chicago, we have our Tibetan brothers and sisters coming all the way from Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, and Ohio and Kentucky to participate in this mass protest rally. It has been 76 years since China invaded the independent country of Tibet. And during these 7 decades and more, so much has happened inside of Tibet. In short, our country, Tibet, was turned inside out and torn to pieces. The Chinese have created a living hell on earth. They have created a living hell on earth through hosts of repressive measures and persecutions. Over 1 million Tibetans have lost their lives. Millions suffered torture, imprisonment, and starvation in silence. How many more have to die? Not only this, our sacred country was ransacked and looted. Thousands of our places of worship were torn down, and our sacred places was mined and emptied of natural resources. And the Chinese call the invasion of Tibet a peaceful liberation. A what? A peaceful liberation? The brutal genocide of Tibetan people are a peaceful liberation? A peaceful liberation from who? A peaceful liberation from what? Liberation? No. To tell you the truth, their so-called peaceful liberation was nothing but a brutal annihilation of an independent civilization of Tibet. "76 years of occupation of Tibet has seen a lot. A relentless systematic campaign of destruction. Of the many, one was the demographic engineering, whereby the Chinese openly carried out a program of mass migration of the Han Chinese population into Tibet. And their sole objective for that was to marginalize the native population and turn them into a minority in their own homeland. Unknown to the world, thus far, the Chinese have wiped out nearly 1/5 of the Tibetan population through state-sponsored violence, forced labors, imprisonment, famine, and brutal crackdowns, and many. Dear Tibetans and Americans, let it be very clear here that no amount of Chinese propaganda and social media can mask their crimes against Tibet. No amount of propaganda can sanitize the history of colonial conquest and repression in Tibet. The anger and sadness in our heart is becoming unbearable. We strongly condemn the CCP for what they have done to our country. Here in my hand is a picture of their founder, their dictator Mao Zedong. This picture is a very representation of the evil power called CCP. This picture is a symbol of the evil power that had sent millions and millions of innocent people to death, including their own. According to historical records, around 40 to 50 million people have died under the rule of this dictator, Mao Zedong. How can history forget this truth? How can the world forget this truth? He was the one who ordered the invasion of my homeland and the murder of my people. Down with this devil and CCP. I cannot wait to tell the international community our feelings by ripping up this picture, this symbol of evilness and inhumanity. What about you?